So exactly 1 year ago, I got 2 baby Oscar cichlids for this 125-gallon tank that I have here. Now I do have another Oscar in there, so I now have a total of 3 Oscars, and I've had a total of 3 for exactly 1 year. Prior to that, I had another Oscar. There's a long story about that one. You can go back and check some of those videos out. But anyway, if you recall, they were super small when I got them. I'll put a link up here that shows how small they were, but they were just small little baby Oscar cichlids, and now they are quite large. So it is important to have a larger aquarium if you are going to keep these fish. And I get comments all the time about what size tank should you have for an Oscar, and I always say 75 gallons or larger for one, and then 125 gallons plus if you're gonna have more than one. But anyway, I did have something exciting that happened in here, so we're gonna talk about that today and talk a little bit about what I might do with these fish in the future. Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Zenzo from Tazawa Tanks. Now, I did get these Oscars exactly 1 year ago, and they have, I don't know, quadrupled, quintupled, whatever. They've gotten much bigger over the last 12 months. So it is important that you do have a large aquarium if you are going to keep these fish, because they do get quite large. They can easily get to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 inches at some times. So a larger aquarium is going to be better for these fish. Now, if you are going to keep more than one, I would recommend having a much larger tank than a 75 gallon. 75 gallons is okay for one, but if you're going to have more than one, you are going to want a larger aquarium, because territory can be an issue. So when I say larger, I'm talking about kind of the footprint of the aquarium. So not so much gallons. So I wouldn't say that a 90 gallon is better than a 75 gallon, because it's still the same footprint. It's just a little bit taller. I would say like a 125 or larger when you have a tank that's 6 feet long. Now, if you have something custom that's like an odd size, like 5 feet or 5.5 feet or something like that, that might work out, but you do want something that's larger and longer than a 4-foot tank. This is a 6-foot tank. If you have, 125, something like that would be great. If you could even have a larger tank, that would be even better for multiple fish. Now, I did have a problem in here, and I'm still kind of having a problem with these fish, and that is because 2 of them have paired up, meaning that they have decided to become a couple, and they have mated. Well, they haven't really mated, they've spawned. So they actually have done this twice now, where they have cleared out an area, they chose a rock in this aquarium, and they laid eggs on that rock. Now, both times they only lasted for a few days before the eggs disappeared. Now, it could be for a couple of reasons. It could be from predation. It could be that the other fish that I have in this aquarium, I've got a loach, I've got some other catfish in there, and it's almost impossible for these 2 Oscars to keep all those other fish away 24/7, and they're very aggressive in chasing other fish around, but it can be exhausting, and they may not have had the opportunity to just keep them away all the time. Or it could have been that the eggs were infertile. I wasn't sure if they were fertile or not. And I'm not an expert on breeding Oscars, but nevertheless, they weren't successful in keeping the eggs. Now, I guess I could have maybe pulled out the eggs and tried to take care of them myself, like in a sterile separate tank with no snails or anything like that, or I could have just put them in an aquarium with no other fish, and maybe that would have been successful. But my aim is not to breed Oscars. Oscars are so common, and I'm not really into breeding common fish anymore. I do have some fish that I breed, but they're kind of fish that are more difficult to find, so people will reach out to me for those fish locally. But if it's something that's as common as an Oscar, it's almost not worth the effort for me to try to breed them, because I'm not going after like breeder points or anything, and it's hard to sell them to a store. You wouldn't get very much money for them. So, but anyway, the problem that I had is that they paired off, and they became hyper aggressive towards any other fish. And I do have 3 Oscars in here, and they were basically battling with this one Oscar. This Oscar was able to fend for himself. His name is Ebony, and he was able to fend for himself and keep his own little territory, and he would fight back. So they weren't beating him up or anything. He's perfectly fine. He's perfectly healthy. No injuries, no torn fins or anything like that. No scars. Just he was kind of stuck in like 1/3 of the tank and they were controlling the other side. The problem is that the rock that they chose, they kind of moved that rock because Oscars are very large fish and they do have a lot of strength, and they were able to move the rock to the middle of the tank. I actually moved some stuff around. I put the rock that they spawned on twice in this back corner over here. So I'm hoping that if they do decide to spawn again, that they'll use that rock again. And it's far enough away to where they're not going to have an issue with this Oscar when they are protecting their eggs. But they are kind of still bickering. So I might have to kind of rethink how I've scaped this aquarium and maybe put some kind of line of sight break in here. What a line of sight break is when you have something in the aquarium, be it like a branch or a plant or a rock or something that breaks that line of sight, meaning that the fish on this side of the aquarium can't see the fish on that side of the aquarium because there's something in their way blocking their vision, like a piece of wood or a decoration or something. So I may have to do a little bit of alterations in this aquarium and create a sight break just so that there is some kind of physical barrier between the two. Not meaning that they can't swim around the aquarium, because obviously they can swim past that decoration, but that they just can't be sitting there and then look across the tank and say, hey, there's Ebony, there's Oscar, there's Ivory, whatever. They're not going to have that issue. So anyway, that is what I wanted to share with you guys. Just a quick little update on my Oscar aquariums. I get a lot of questions about Oscars because I have had many videos about them. They are wonderful fish, tons of personality. They do need a larger tank though. So again, larger tank. Please don't ask me if you can keep them in a 36-gallon tank or a 40-gallon breeder. If it's temporary, if it's a hospital tank, if you just got the fish and it's a baby and you're waiting for your next paycheck to buy a larger aquarium or something, that's okay. But long term, you're going to need a larger aquarium. So anyway, that is all for now. I do appreciate all of you watching. Please comment down below your thoughts on Oscars. Do you keep them? Have you kept them? And for those of you that have maybe bred Oscars successfully, I would love to read kind of some of the things that you've done to ensure that the eggs have hatched and that you've been able to raise up the fry and rehome the fish. So anyway, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Like the video, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.